Hey, what is up, YouTube? How are you doing? How are you doing? Are you surviving the volatility today? What a beautiful day, no? What a beautiful day. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Yes, time for a live stream, and seems like we picked a pretty decent moment as well to go live. So am I actually connected here? Yes, I'm good. So yeah, some nice volatility here. Actually, some interesting price action, strong bullish CVD divergence here at the lows, and then we have this volatile move down, hitting the 886, increases probabilities to take the low, which we have now done as well. So very, very interesting price action indeed. Now, I was very inactive, or let's say not too present in Discord and stuff because of the morning and early afternoon, because of making sure the house is ready, and then the photographer that came here and make pictures of the house because we're selling the house and moving to France. So it's been a busy day, but yeah, everything is sorted now, and yeah, we can have a look at the chart and be live on YouTube. Very, very good indeed. So Samuel, Bina, Obelix, how you doing? B channel, what's up? Malon, good to be here again. Good to have you once again. Max Dirty Money, below 60k possible. There are probabilities for a scenario like that, yeah. Of course, we're going to cover Elliott Waves in this live stream, so you will get a better answer on your question, I suppose. Probability-wise, I would not yet expect 60k straight down. Would expect at least a bit of a bounce before. But you'll see when I go to my analysis. Peter, how you doing? Good to have you here once again. Don't really know if we're in a corrective structure anymore. It's the ABC versus the impulse down. And we did already extend to the 2.618 when price was here, which is already deep for a wave C, right? It's not a common target for a wave C to go to the 2.618. So, but wave Cs can extend very far. Preferably, they are then very quick as well. And I have some examples of the past, so I could show them. But yeah, you know, the lower we go, the higher the probabilities for an impulse, really. Casper, how you doing? Welcome. Matthew, good morning. Good morning. Mr. Friends, what's up? Frank, Mayor Tsai, HZ, maybe a Band-Aid, Christian, Hot Thailand, Ranako, how you doing? I'm going home. Yeah, maybe should. ABC 33, nope, not yet invalidated. We actually want price to move down in a flat structure, right? ABC 335, depends on what flat you're talking about, to be honest, because the time frame is not really here, but the flat that I'm talking about on a 1 hour time frame, when you zoom out, is still very much a possibility, but then you want the lows to be taken. Florian, how you doing? Jeroen, welcome. Good to have you here as well. And yeah, we're going to start. Actually, I want to quickly have a notification with regards to the giveaway winners. Let me quickly check here. Okay, this is my other screen. So, Bones, if you see this live stream, please reply with your size for the t-shirt, the Koens branded t-shirt, and then we are complete and I can order the whole shebang. So we're just waiting for Bones. So everyone that wants something, you know, put the hammer in chat, because we're all waiting for Bones now. No pressure, by the way. But everyone replied very quickly to my email about making sure the right sizes are being given, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to order everything, get it at home, and then send the hoodie, you know, the Koens hoodies, the t-shirts, and everything to you. So yeah, very, very nice. Shane, how you doing? Shane Bash, what's up? Lowry, welcome as well. Why Bitcoin down? Sometimes it's the way it is, right? People selling, people getting liquidated and stopped. Yeah, that's the way to go. Sometimes a little bit of news. Of course, we had some 2:30 p.m. Central European Time news here on Thursday, as you can see, GDP growth rate. I also saw in Discord some people talking about the increased probabilities to have some volatility today because of, you know, that stuff. So yeah, it definitely looks like we have some stuff happening on the chart while I'm actually adjusting my screen here. There we go. So yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. We are now below the weekly naked point of control. And we just missed out on hitting it here. Then we hit it here. Bit of a bounce. And then we took the low. But I will go over this structure and what I saw. Because while the photographer was here, I did manage to trade but not post anything because my alarm went off. So yeah, anyway, let's start with the analysis. So what we're going to do in this live stream is Elliott Waves, right? I want to start on the 4 hour. I don't really feel like going to the weekly this time. We know what's happening on the weekly unless there are special requests or something. But start on the 4 hours, jump into the 1 hour and take it from there, right? And then the 15-minute we can have a look, and probably we'll be observing price action because the moment a high amount of volume comes in, it's quite nice to be patient and wait for ranges to form, as these will give us the the clarity that we need. So yeah, this now, by the way, is not an impulse up. This is now a corrective structure to the upside, and we just wicked the low here as well. So yeah, quite interesting, no? So that is the plan of today, and then of course we have chatting and Q&A, and take about an hour. And then I'm gonna again run with my wife. Today is 6 kilometers on the plan, right? I'm training my wife to run half a marathon in November in Nice. So made a training plan, and then we got to stick to it. So 6Ks today. That's the plan. What's up, Adam? How are you doing? QZ World. 8 minutes in. You're early. You're early. Oh, can retest today. Important retest. No, always the 200 EMA. Jay-Z, how you doing? Where to see the list of your giveaway? Oh, I in the live stream I noted everyone down. So the list is actually yeah, I don't have it here, but it's in my closet. I have a list of the winners and already send messages and everything. So with regards to the caps, the hoodies, the t-shirts, I also got a request, by the way, by email. I'm not sure who it was. But Shane, was it you? Maybe someone else sent me a message like, "Yo, I really like the Koens hoodie. Can I buy it?" Now I don't have a shop, by the way, so this is all stuff that I do myself, and I just get it done. But only if there's enough interest, I can see if we can make a cheap shop and just if people are interested. But for now, it's just giveaway stuff that people can receive in giveaways, and I learned some good lessons with the giveaways as well. Okay, let's start on the 4 hour chart, and I'm gonna set make sure my alarms are set correctly. So let me remove this one. This one has already been triggered. First line, blue box. Below the blue box, and then if we do get back above this level, that is potentially interesting as well. Pretty much the weekly naked point of control is not really holding too well as a support for now, but we'll leave it on the chart nonetheless. Gonna remove this and that. Also, might be some fun stuff happening during the live stream because of my mouse, as I don't have my regular mouse with a wire. I am actually borrowing my wife's mouse, which is a wireless one, and got to get used to it a little bit. So cool. Good afternoon, by the way. How you doing, Nadim? I work there at the airport. You mean in Nice, France? Nice France or Nice? Because we are gonna live close to south of France, Nice, Antibes, Cannes, that area. Yeah, Mark 10, subscribe today. Welcome, man. Welcome to the channel. Murtaza, what's up? Yo, good to have you here, Mark 10. Thanks for your sub, eh? Does chart pattern really useful? Before I analyzed the descending triangle of Bitcoin, but now it's a falling wedge. Patterns in Elliott waves, besides a triangle, generally are not really a thing. Well, actually, you have triangles and you have the diagonals. Those are the two that you really want to look out for. So not the W and the M and those type of patterns and whatever head and shoulders. Because a head and shoulders, by the way, for everyone that trades, a head and shoulders, chat, tell me, what is a head and shoulders in Elliott waves? For the ones that know, what is this? How do we count this? And of course, there's still price action here, and potentially you do this or you go straight down. But what are we looking for? Right? What is a head and shoulders in Elliott wave terminology? Let me put the chat on. 4, 5. Yep. Correct, Salman. And Christian, also correct. 5 into corrective, also correct. Very sharp. Chat sharp today, guys. Hey, you're doing very well. Yep. So we have indeed a 4, 5 up. That is the end of an impulse. And then you look for an A, B, C down or an A, B, C up. And then you have an impulse down, and then you expect continuation. So what Salman says, right, is this is your 4, this is your 5, and then you have an ABC, and that is the fake out, right? That is the typical head and shoulders fake out scenario where you move up in an impulse, ABC down, and you move back up, right? But what Christian says is the continuation, ABC up and a 1, 2, 3 down. That is when the pattern actually plays out, right? So, and what Samuel says is indeed also 4, 5, and then you start corrective, and eventually you expect to move back up again. So, yes, you're all correct. Incredible 3, 4, 5, ABC. Yes, exactly. So 4, 5, ABC. So the patterns that really matter is the triangle, which is very important. So if I can recommend learning a pattern in Elliott waves, it would be the triangle, as that is the most misunderstood pattern. People are very quick with drawing trend lines on a chart and be like, oh, look, oh, this must be a triangle now. But you know, the rules of a triangle need to match with if it is actually a triangle or not. So the structure, the two lines might be contracting, which looks like a triangle, but it's not really a triangle because of the sub-degree waves, and therefore you get a lot of fake outs. So knowing Elliott wave theory can be very useful when you see triangles on a chart to expect fake outs, yes or no. And that is why, and this is, I'm just giving tips at the beginning before I actually start my analysis, I suppose, but that is why when people look for triangles, I only start looking at a triangle once wave D is in. So that's very late, right? You have A, B, C, D, and then D, that is the moment where I start to get interested. This might be a triangle. Before wave D, there is other scenarios that always have a higher probability, which usually is a WXY structure. So I'm very careful with triangles. You don't often see me talk about triangles or put the trend lines on, only when, you know, it starts to get interesting, but it has a lot of fake out potential, the triangles, especially if D is not yet in. So triangles, and of course you have the diagonals, which you call the wedges, right? Up, 1, 2, 3, or an ending diagonal. So yeah. Bettina, welcome. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Let me prep my chart here, see what folders I have down here. Oh, I want this one as well. I should call this differently, by the way. The bearish scenario. Okay, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna cover. This one doesn't have the highest probability for me, and that is weekly stuff. And the rest I gotta sort myself. This is like old stuff, so gotta sort myself out there. Okay, back to what we know. I bet some people had either dreams or nightmares about this regular flat by now. Oh yeah, I also got a question. Let me explain something else. I got a question by email, but also in Discord, of someone that said, "Yo, Koen, can this still be a 5-wave structure? Right? Can this be a wave 4 and we go down in a wave 5?" And the answer to that question is that is very unlikely that you have a 4 finished and a 5. And let me shortly explain why. First of all, right, if you end 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here, and we take a fib time from the low of 1, or the end of 1, to the end of 2, and put it on 3, then this wave 4 ended on the 6 fib time, which is very uncommon for a wave 4 to be that long compared to your wave 2. Secondly, if this is the low of your 3, we need to think of a flat structure here, right? Because A, double zigzag B, 1, 2, we need a 3, 4, 5, but you cannot count an impulse here. There's no impulse here because this move is shortest in a 3, so 1 and 5 are longer than 3, and that's not allowed. We can't end a structure here being a wave 1 or a wave C. So therefore, A, B, C flat doesn't work. So low probabilities because of wave C not being able, we can't count this as a 5 waver. Following the Elliott Wave rules. There's a lot of overlap, so we can't count an impulse. We can't count a diagonal because our wave 3 is so incredibly short, shorter than 1 and 5. So that is not really great. Now you do have new rules in diagonals actually, spoke about it with B channel as well. So in a contracting diagonal, you have your wave 1, 2, wave 3 can be longer nowadays, and then a 4 and a 5. Right? And in an expanding diagonal, expanding is always complex, you have your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your 3 can be the shortest in an expanding diagonal, but expanding diagonals are very rare, never preferred. Yeah. So, yeah. And wave 4 almost hit the 618, which is like an invalidation for a wave 4. Almost. Yeah, almost. Literally a few dollars. Now, if we then put wave 3 down here, then we have a problem as well, because then you pull a fib from the high of 2 to the low of 3, and we hit the 618, which invalidates wave 4. So that is why the probabilities are low for that scenario. Now, you heard my alarm going off, so let me quickly look what's happening. Okay, so we hit the first point of control. These are point of controls of the range here. Different pools, different point of controls. Put them all on my chart. And an alarm going off there. Let me see what the volume is doing. We have lower volume at the moment compared to the drop yesterday. I do quickly at least want to manage something here. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Just want to make sure. Oh, lol, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. 1 second. Very nice. So yeah, while the photographer was here, I had some time to do some time. My alarm went off and I saw some and I'll explain. So I entered positions, but I didn't have time to write everything down in Discord and everything. So, okay. Sorry for that. Let's then finally start with the Elliott Wave analysis. On the 4 hour, that's where we are gonna start. And I also want to have the live stream on because I need to know the time, which is 22 minutes. Rune, I will explain. What's up, everyone? Married with backpacks. Tarun Murpiri, what's up? Ed, Puppy. So Rune, I'll get to your question. Good morning, Mike. What's up, Rob? Morning as well. Milo, how are you doing? Let's start. So, bullish and bearish scenarios on Elliott Waves. On Bitcoin using Elliott Waves. Starting with the bullish scenarios. Now, I haven't changed my folders from this morning, so that's interesting because we can actually see some invalidations as well. So, first things first. We have our wave A, we have our wave B, and a 5-wave C. Regular flat structure, ending on top of the 1-to-1, taken from the high to the low of A to the high of B. This is a common target for your wave C, nicely respected. However, in this scenario, we want to see impulsive structures to the upside, and that is a little bit of a challenge over here, because we cannot count this as a nice impulsive structure because of all the overlap. But the diagonal has a very low probability as well. Now, if we look at a diagonal here, this one just got invalidated. Another reason for my alarm there was the invalidation of this diagonal. Now, as explained already in previous videos, this scenario is very rare. Expanding diagonals are very rare Elliott wave structures, never preferred unless other stuff fails. Now, we had a couple of, like the 1112, right, was invalidated as price moved down here. Also, each wave 1 was already longer than the first one, and each wave 2 started to be longer as well. That's not really preferred. So yeah, we invalidated that one. Then we had a potential diagonal here, right, but that one got invalidated as well quite quickly. So there are the variations. Move towards the downside. We got to know those invalidations. We have to know the probabilities, and the probabilities were not very high, right? So for these scenarios. Now we hit an invalidation. So pretty much we can just remove this one now from the chart because it doesn't count anymore, no pun intended. So here, if I clean this up and remove this and then make this a little bit smaller, then we are now approaching, where are we now? The 3. Yeah, there you go. So it's a long move to the downside. 3, let me also put the 3, where's 3.618 is there. Let me do it like this so you can read it. So, your bullish scenario now is one of two scenarios. The second one is very ugly, the one that I'm going to show you. You probably already know if you watched the previous video which one it is. But this one is possible. It's just that this move down is starting to get very long. Let me explain. So here we have a contracting diagonal that's preferred. WXY in wave 1, a double zigzag where we have an ABC in wave Y. Take a fib from the low to the high of A, to the low of B, that's the internal ABC count in wave Y. Toggle on the 1-to-1, common target for C, very nicely respected indeed. Now then we're looking for wave 2, preferably also a zigzag pattern, right? And usually a simple zigzag, so a 5-3-5 wave structure. But at the moment, this potential wave C in this scenario, as we're looking for an A, B, and then a wave C, starts to get very long. We already hit the 2.618 trend base fib extension from the high to the low to the high. Now the 2.618 is more common for a wave 3 compared to a wave C. The common target area for a wave C is the 1 to the 1.236, with the 1.618 being less common, but still common, you know, like most common target 1.618, okay, yeah, we can live with the 1.618. But going to the 2.618, approaching the 3.618, that is definitely increasing probabilities for an impulsive structure down. It's very rare for a wave C to move towards a 3.618, right? The 2.618, yeah, it happens, it's just probabilities go down. And that is what we do, right? Common target 1 to the 1.236, okay, that's a high probability target for C. The 1.618, okay, works. 2.618, probabilities start to go down a bit, right? 3.618 starts to be very unlikely. It's not that it never happens. So a scenario that many of you will remember is this over here, was at the beginning of the year. This is the craziest live stream I've had so far. Here we hit the 3.618 trend base fib extension, and we moved back up. This was a wave C, reaching the 3.618, which is, again, very uncommon, right? That happens. Now, for the ones that were here, I think yesterday, there was another one, just like this, before, where we also hit the 3.618. It wasn't that one. Trying to find it for the sake of education, but it might take me a little too long to spot it, so you might have to check a previous live stream. Yeah, I'm not in the mood to try and find that now. So there's another one where price also went to the 3.618 and eventually, you know, bounced. It's just that probabilities are low, right? You can see how I have to search and go back in time to find wave Cs that even go to the 3.618. So it doesn't happen very often. So it just reduces probabilities, increasing probabilities for impulses. So your scenario here, you want an ABC, you want support and a move up, but an ABC now here does have lower probabilities compared to an impulse because of the extension that we have in wave C starting to reach the 3.618. Now, just to finish the scenario, your common target area for 2 is the golden pocket 786, 65 or 62.5K, 61.2K, and then we look for a 3, a 4, and eventually a 5. 05 area, a little less common, 886. You don't want to hit the 886. Now then we have, so that is the question pretty much, Milo. Can it be? Yes, because there's no certainties in trading. Probabilities, not high, because you're approaching the 3.618. Then we have, I already removed that folder, but I do want to talk about it because it's a crazy scenario. I don't know how this, So I have seen this, and I would count any other scenario as a higher probability than this. So where you have a flat A, B, C, and then a move up. So you have a flat in a B or a 2, and then you go back towards the upside. Let me actually put the bullish count on here. I don't know why people look at this, but this is not a great count. Fib time from the low of 1 to the high of 1, double click. Your wave 2 is, what are we now, 15 times longer? Oh, not 215. Almost 15 times longer than your wave 1, which is crazy. That's a crazy extension in time for a wave 2. Your common target area for 2 is this. Look at where we are now, right? Reaching the 4, you lower probabilities for a 2. Reaching the 5, you really lower probabilities for a 2. We're now at 15. We're at 15. Besides time being a big issue here, we also hit the 1.618 taken from the high to the low of A, right? Which is an uncommon target for a wave B. So you have a uncommon target B with an incredibly crazy time wave 2 compared to wave 1. So if we go up, right, I'm prepared. There's scenarios moving up, but not like this. And it's so low probability to see a flat forcing a bullish structure in here, but a flat is not, it's very low probability to have anything like a flat in this structure. So I just want to make that clear, right? There's a lot of stuff online. So anyway, we have the bearish scenario now. Okay, the more theory you know, the more accurate you're going to become. So, bearish scenario. The bearish scenario is, by the way, long-term still bullish, where we are still expecting price to continue to trend to the upside on the weekly time frame, but it's just you're going to continue in this sideways range for a little bit longer. So our regular flat, which is the bullish scenario, is now a wave W. We then have our X and we have our Y. That is what we're looking for. So it's an extension in time. It's a longer sideways ranging structure. In this scenario, wave X could be on top of here. That is a possibility. It's just that X is very short in time. So we could have a WXY, which is a valid count locally, WXY, double zigzag structure in X, which is fine. And X can have a double zigzag. And then we're looking for a zigzag in a wave Y, a flat in a wave Y, or a triangle in a wave Y. Now for a flat, we need a 3-wave move to then get a 3 up and a 5 down. In a triangle, we also need a 3-wave move to get a bigger horizontal structure. And in a zigzag, we need a 5-waver. Now, knowing this and the extension we have here, you kind of get an idea of the probabilities as well, right? Currently, a zigzag would make most sense because of the extension to the downside to the 3.618, as explained earlier. The issue, however, which reduces probabilities a bit, is the wave X is shorter than the 382 of wave W. Now, wave X can be very short, but probability-wise, usually structures in a corrective pattern are related at least, how can I say this in good English? A WXY, preferably the individual waves relate to one another in time. No idea how to say this, but to at least a 382 fib time or later. So preferably wave X at least reaches the 382 or is longer, and then you get Y. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm lost in my English there. So preferably you then have your X move to the right and after the 382, and then you'll get your Y. And your Y can again be either a flat structure, a zigzag structure, or a continuation of the range in a triangle structure. But if we want to extend this wave X, we have to find a way to label a WXY in a bigger corrective pattern. The only way to do this is to label this an A. You cannot label this a W, right? It's not possible. You can't have an internal WXY in a wave W. So if you label this a WXY, we cannot label this a W. We have to label this an A. Which then only gives us one scenario for wave X, and that is the flat. So of course an ABC is also a zigzag, a 5-3-5, but we are not counting a 5-wave structure to the upside here. In the moment we're counting a 3-waver, which means the only scenario then is a flat structure. So in this scenario, we are then looking for an impulse down in a wave A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move, get a bounce in B, go down in C, take the lows, common B target here for an expanding flat taken from the low to the high of A is between 57.7 and 56.6K, which is in confluence with the support resistance area that we have here as well, the white box that you see on my chart. And then we're looking for an impulse to the upside in a wave C. So you snipe the lows, you hit resistance, find support, and then move up impulsively to take the highs of A. And then you go down for Y. Now the 382 fib time is sitting on the 2nd of May. So it's not too long, it's like a week. Preferably minimum for wave X. And then you have your wave Y, which again is then a flat, a zigzag, or a triangle. Right? So it's a continuation of the range. And the lower price is going here, the higher the probabilities for this scenario. As the probabilities increase, this is an impulse versus a 3-wave structure, and therefore we would be looking for at least a 3-waver, if not a bigger impulse. So but the flat would then have the highest probability. Oh wait, here it is, the flat. I call it flat. What the fuck? Yeah, we already covered this, so I don't have to cover this. Now, the probabilities were higher for price to move towards the downside and take this low, as explained in the morning update, in the morning video. And that was because of this structure here. There's only 3 bullish structures. You have to keep in mind, if we have a low, you have to think about either an impulse, diagonal, or a 112. If you cannot identify one of these 3 with a good amount of probabilities, it's higher, you're in a corrective structure, and you move down. You don't even really have to know what corrective structure you're in. You're going to be looking for a continuation to the downside. Now here, from this low, we made the video here. This was somewhere here, I uploaded the video. An impulse to the upside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we never got a 4 and a 5, right? This is very much a 3-waver. The diagonal, too early. Same with the triangle. You wait for wave 4 in the diagonal to really confirm a diagonal. You did have a zigzag structure here towards the upside, right? There was something. and then you move down, and then you go sideways for so long. So yeah, diagonal didn't have great probabilities, but also it's way too early to call a diagonal. And a double 1 2 1 2 1 2, you want to eventually move up. Besides ranging for a very long time, which lowers probabilities, you also hit the 886 during your second 1 2, and that again lowers the probabilities for a 1 2. So therefore the probabilities for upside were limited and the probabilities for downside were higher. And what also helped is that we did not yet touch the weekly naked point of control at 63.5k. We just missed out on hitting it over here. And I do like to hit those areas, those areas of support resistance. So it's nice that we came down later and found support. Now what was interesting very, very locally is that on the 3 minute we had bullish CVD divergences here. So we hit the weekly naked point of control and my alarm went off. And then we had over here bullish CVD. So the lows are taken, weekly naked point of control is hit here. We move up, we move down, bullish CVD. It's quite interesting, no? And then we move towards the upside. Not necessarily too happy. Like I was wondering, this looks like a 3-wave structure, or it's a running flat. Move up, A, B, C. C doesn't take the low of A, but a running flat is very rare. So it's more like a scalping type of move, retesting support into resistance, and we get to drop with a little bit of a liquidity grab here. And now we are below the weekly naked point of control, retested here. The moment the 886 locally was touched here, that is the probabilities when it really probabilities increase to take the low, besides the potential 3-wavy nature here. But as price keeps moving to the upside, it doesn't really give confidence necessarily to short till you see something like this, right? And especially the 886 hit, expect the lows taken sooner or later. We did that pretty quick. Now to the downside, support areas, we have the first red line, and the first red line is a point of control. So there's actually a few in this area. We have, first of all, the one down here, but there's a couple more. And each red line is just a different like pull on the volume profile. So I just like to identify these with my red lines. Come on, where is it? Okay, so there's another one, right? And then if you play around with your tool, oh, here another one, but this one was already touched. So if you play around, you'll find a couple of high volume nodes or point of controls, and these are like interesting levels as price is falling. But the most interesting level is my target box here, 62.2, 62.6k as an area of support. At the moment, price is moving to the downside, but it does so on lower volume, which is what we like to see if we think about a wave 3, potentially a 4, and move down in a 5 to end an impulsive structure. Now the weekend is coming up, and the weekend is of course famous for its ranging structures. So what day is it today? It's Thursday. So preferably on Friday or today, we finish a first impulse and then we go ranging in the weekend. that would be ideal, really. But yeah, we have a little bit of support here. Below this, by the way, there's not much left. It's a big void, pretty much. This is a 1 hour order block. Range point of control, golden pocket of the low to the high is also here. And then you only have pretty much this red line, 61.1k. So yeah, there's just not much below this blue box here. So that's something to keep in mind. So when we then talk about probabilities, the probabilities on the weekly time frame, a very high time frame, remain higher for the bullish continuation of the trend. On the 4 hour time frame, the probabilities are, and that's what I say in the morning update as well, is on the 4 hour they're pretty neutral, because the 15 minute and the 1 hour, what we're looking at now, decides the probabilities at the moment for the 4. And because of this move being extended to maybe we even hit the 3.618. No, let me have a look here. Almost, But because we extend so far, getting close to the 3.618, probabilities increase. This is an impulse to the downside and not an ABC to the downside. It's all probabilities, right? It's no certainties. But the probabilities increase as price is falling for an impulse compared to this being an A, B, and then a wave C to the downside. With that in mind, the probabilities therefore also increase for the 4-hour bearish scenario to take the low in a potential flat. So let's wait and see what the last support area kind of gives us, and then if you feel here, you go down. So we are at support, we're not at resistance, right? We're at support here. So see if we get anything of a range, of a bounce. Now the usual recommendation with regards to a move up or down with volume is that we wait for a range to form. So that is the best thing you can do as an Elliott Wave analyst, is just wait for a range to form, as the range will give you all the information you need. So I said the same yesterday. Price is falling during the live stream. I said just wait for a range. Right? Wait for a range. The range will show us everything. We move up, get the three-way structure, and then I wake up here, and I know the probabilities from an Elliott Wave point of view. Why? Because we had patience. I'm not hurrying in a long or a short or all that stuff. I wake up and I observe, and the Elliott Wave probabilities were higher to take the low sooner or later. Doesn't mean that we could have gone up to the daily naked point of control. Bit of bullish CVD over here as well. Spoke about it in the morning video. But the probabilities in general were higher to eventually move down, even if you would have gone up. Because the bullish impulse, diagonal, double 1, 2 were not easy to count here, right? So yeah, we got to move to the downside now, though. So yeah, that's that pretty much. We hit the point of control. You can see a bit of a reaction. So let's keep this on the chart and go into chatting and Q&A. My water is also finished, by the way. No. As we are reaching support, though. 1 second. And there we go. You gotta make sure you TP. Oh. There we go. Okay, very nice. We started at 22 minutes with the Elliott Wave analysis. So let me write that down. Boop. Let me bump my own message here. There we go. Let's also check if we are still in a potential flat area here for a expanding flat towards the daily naked point of control. We hit the 1.618, so a flat doesn't really carry high probabilities here to then move up in a C. Higher probabilities if you get a bounce that you're actually having a corrective structure higher up. But for now, point of control here is holding. We have some stronger support just below though. Also, I think we may have hit the golden pocket. Or just missed out still. Ah, no. We're still coming short. Yeah. Okay. It's quite interesting to hit that one sooner or later. CVD divergences are completely neutral, so nothing to see there really. Okay. Probably depends on the chart, depends on the wicks that you have on your chart, I suppose. But yeah, I use the Coinbase chart, so I know that one the best. And the reason I use the Coinbase chart is not because I trade on Coinbase as I trade on BingX, but a strategy that I developed over the years works best on Coinbase because of the highs and the lows on Coinbase. So will it break 60K? All probabilities, which is literally just the analysis that I've done. We can't speak in certainties. So things as will, for example, right? Or it should, or it must, are words that we cannot use in our vocabulary as a trader. So will it break? There's probabilities for price to hit 60K. But I personally do not yet at least expect 60K to be hit this week, if that's the case. I would like to see a bounce to the upside before that happens. And then you move down in a C to below 60 in that case. That would be what I would prefer to see from an Elliott Wave point of view with the flat. So, but yeah, there is probabilities for that to happen. So let me quickly, by the way, what's up, Mark? How you doing? Let me quickly have a look here. So everyone paid good attention, not too much chatting. Mike question there. Morning ritual check. What's up, Jeremy? How you doing? I'm part of the morning ritual now, in your time zone, that is. Oh wait, there's some. Can there still be a wave 3? Yes. Well, depends on the volume, but yes, you can have 3, 4, 5 in a sub degree. So this is the end of your bigger 3, and then another 4, 5. That's a possibility. Wave 2 is always a corrective structure, which therefore is not a 5 waver. It needs to be an ABC, so it can be a 5-3-5 in that case. So yes, you could have a wave A, but this being a wave 2 has low probabilities. Unless, no, well, in the flat, so the flat wave 2 is much lower probabilities than the contracting diagonal wave 2. So then you would be looking at a contracting diagonal. What's up, Andrew? Tangerine, how are you doing? Your first wave A in blue is three waves, Salman. It's 3 waves in A. Good morning, Victor. That's what you're trading in crypto. Sentiment is a big factor. Yeah. Elliott Waves is pretty much reading psychology in a way. So, little bounce here at the point of control. Not bad. But yeah, Elliott Waves is very closely connected to psychology in the market. Well. $50, still a way to go though for 50. So what's up, Derrymax Crypto? How you doing? Would you be able to talk more about time suggested requirements? Yes, even though it's a whole topic by itself, right? Time. So I'm not sure, Mike, what membership you have. If it's gold, then in the membership or in the Elliott Wave course content in gold, right, where you have all my brains and videos, there's one video that goes into time where I explain everything. But generally, what you probably need to know is in corrective structures, your W and your Y are usually related between the 1, or actually the 0.618 and the 1.618. In a wave A and a wave C, they also tend to be between the 0.618 and 1.618. In an impulse, wave 2 and 4 are related. Wave 4 tends to be between 1 and 4 times wave 2. Wave 2 compared to wave 1 tends to be between the 0.382 and the 3/5 time of wave 1. Wave 5 tends to be closely related to wave 1 in time, between the 0.618 or the 1.618. So yeah, W, X, Y, X, Z, wave W, Y, and Z tend to be around the 1 to 1/5 time. Wave X and Bs can do anything. They can be very short, they can be very long. It's very difficult to have a good reading on X and Bs in time, but generally you want waves to at least relate to each other with the 0.382 time as a minimum. 6 hour depends on the divergence you're talking about. You need to tell me if it's RSI, MACD, CVD, but on the CVD we don't, so I would guess it's RSI, but I personally don't use RSI, so it's difficult for me to say. The problem with RSI as well is that in very impulsive structures you get a lot of false positives, meaning it shows a bearish divergence but you still go up. Mind you that on the daily time frame, the first bearish divergence on the RSI was at 35k. We doubled 35k. So RSI and stuff is best used in the context of your own analysis, right? And RSI can be very useful, but not every divergence is useful. So I think if you know Elliott waves well enough, you'll be able to read RSI together with the waves, which will help you out. If someone only uses RSI, they missed out on another 100% in gains, which is a problem, I suppose. I mean, profit is profit. It's but I would be disappointed. Time, I feel, is a pain point many may miss or gloss over. Yeah, and also the thing is that the information about time in Elliott waves is not easy to find, and also you simply have people that don't really want to learn it. Even though in the book, one second. Even though in the book, right, time is a very important topic. I always like to show this. There we go. Right, so chapter 2, guidelines of wave formation. Alternation there, that is time, right? Wave equality is also time, right? Then you have over here the right look, that's also based on time. On the other page, I gotta check myself over here. Chapter 4, ratio analysis and Fibonacci time sequences. Sorry for that one. All time. So time is very important in Elliott waves. It is a very important subject, but it's not easy to find good information on time. And also not many people in Elliott waves have great experience with time because not many use time. But it's very important, and it's such a big topic in the book as well. But they don't really say per scenario, it's this and this. Right? That is the experience, and 100 websites trying to find info, but eventually it's a lot of experience. So yeah. But time is mega important, and it plays a great role in the probabilities of Elliott wave scenarios. Can't keep up. Gotta go quick. Could we be in the sea of wave Y now? No, not wave Y. In the WXY 4-hour bearish scenario, this is not because you can label it the same, right? You can label this as then your ABC, but then so you got to think. This is funny. You got to think about time, right? Look at your. So if you count this as Y, and this is currently your C, which means this is an ABC. This is your W, This is your y. So when we then look at the book, right, and I'm only going to mention the paragraph. And you read more about, for example, alternation, the right look, right? That's an important one. The right look. Does it have the right look? If we look at the chart and we compare W and Y, for example, right? You'll ratio analysis, multiple wave relationships. You know, like we quickly notice, like, yeah, there's no way that this is a Y compared to this whole structure being a wave W. However, this can be the beginning of a wave Y, because a wave X can kind of do whatever it wants, but it's very short. So preferably we hit the 382, 2nd of May, to end an X. And we do have some interesting resistance above as well, by the way. And then you go down for your wave Y. That would be preferred when we also take time into account. But wave X's and wave B's, they can be very difficult with time, sometimes very short or very long. So but wave W and wave Y are commonly related between the 0.618 and the 1.618, which we haven't yet reached. If this is an impulse down, this downward move is wave 5. Do you think wave 4 is too short in time? Wave 4, too short in time. Prefer to go to the 15. 1 second, I'm counting. If your wave 4 is already finished, which we don't yet know, right? We'll have to wait a little bit longer, as we do have here a lot of overlap to the downside. So it doesn't look like a great impulse. We could have a potential 3, right? Correction, another 3, correction, but then actually another 3, like some type of diagonal structure in a 5. Now this is actually a very nice zigzag, but I was thinking I would like to label this in a W, then have an X involved, which I might here and then have a flat to end it. So we have a zigzag, right? Then we have a double zigzag X and a flat in Y. Zigzag, right, flat. Take the high, solid flat, move down impulsively. And in this case, so this would be my end of 4, is behind the 0.618 for, in this case, comparing to wave 2, which is like commonly wave 4 is 1 to 4 fib time, right? Because generally wave 4 is longer. But the minimum is preferably ending after the 382. This is ending after the 0.618. However, now I am comparing this range, this one, to this. We can also still compare this range with this. However, we need more information before we really know what the wave 4 compares to. And likely during the weekend, we will get that information, as the weekend tends to be a ranging structure. There is also, again, not yet a guarantee that this is finished, but it looks finished here with then wave Y, zigzag, X, flat over here, wave Y, finished, WXY sideways double combo, move down in a wave 5 towards the support area that we have over here. Now, you can see we have one candle here, we have one candle here, so you can count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here, but you might get of course, a bigger move that's yet to be seen. I would like to hit the box though, not gonna lie. But yeah. Yes, Xanea, that's something that I think about with regards to the weekend, something like this. If in the bearish scenario, at least, that would be my pick. Crypto crash after halving. maybe again. Yeah, so I don't really use RSI. So it's, for me, it doesn't make sense to look at RSI and stuff. I'm not. I don't use it. For me, it's a lagging indicator. It's a momentum indicator, but for me, it's not a tool that I like to use. So yeah, you have a 3-5 divergence in that case, but we already identified that just based on volume. So you have over here higher low on RSI, lower low on the chart, which is a bullish divergence on the 1 hour time frame between this low and this low, but I would prefer to use volume compared to RSI. So yeah, what was the question? Bullish divergence, probably daily, could set a doji. Yeah, potentially. So, and the thing with RSIs as well is the more 3-4s you have, or the more 1-2s you have, the more 3-4s you have, but the first 3-4 is going to give a divergence. In other words, if you have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, you get a 3, and you expect a 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. This is your first RSI bearish divergence. And you're going to miss out on all of this. So then we have to identify which wave 4 is this. But as just mentioned, preferably we get another range and we can reanalyze. So that is why I always say with impulsive moves, wait for a range, as the range will give us all the information we need when price is either pumping or dumping. So there is a bullish CVD or a bullish RSI divergence here, but it doesn't give me more information than I already had. As I like to read the volume myself. And from counting, we definitely have a wave 4 range here after the highest volume move. So then we're looking for 5, 4, 5, those type of structures. Yeah. So it's a good question with the RSI. It's well spotted as well, right? It's nice that you found it. And I can imagine many people like to use RSI with Elliott waves. I guess that I'm one of them, or one of the few that doesn't actually use RSI. I know the general RSI rules with Elliott waves, but mainly the 3-5 rule, or the divergence between the 3 and the 5. But that's also where the problem of RSI lies. If you cannot correctly identify the amount of 1-2s, you will have a big problem with the 4-5s and RSI, because your first 4-5 will give a divergence, 35k. Yeah, and you're gonna miss out on a lot of price action. And also the first 4-5 might end impulse 1, but then you get a 2 and then a 3 continuation as well. Yeah, and the 2 in the bull market is very shallow. So I've I got the mouse of my my wife at the moment, so it's not that mine is broken, but I actually want to I want to get rid of the cable. So if you go to the daily, your first divergence on the daily, you can go to RSI, was here. Now it's not that it's wrong, as in we are looking and we're looking for wave 4 and 5s here, but your wave 5s can still be long and your wave 2 on a weekly time frame can be very shallow, so you never come back to the place where you sold. But this was your first RSI divergence. And then price moved up impulsively. Then you get a 2, a sideways structure. You never come back to that level and you continue. So yeah, let me open RSI so I can actually show it. And then you get like you get like 5 different RSI divergences, and then it's like God knows which one do I have to pick. Your first RSI divergence was here, even low, yeah, 35k. This is your first one. Lower high on RSI, higher high on the chart. Another one, right? 1, 2, then we move up. This was your third RSI divergence. This is your fourth one, your fifth one, right? Then we kind of reset, I suppose. But there's no divergence here at the low. The low is also the RSI low. And then you move up again. So yeah, this one I suppose was more accurate in a way that your RSI divergence here reflected these two, and then we started a range. But yeah, if you sold at 35k, you probably won't really like to pay attention to this. And then your second one over here, right? So that's it. You do have another one, again, a second divergence. So yeah, I prefer CVD over RSI every day, but that is a personal preference, and that is not the best tool or the worst tool. It's all about how do you use RSI or CVD in the context of what you're trading. So if you use Elliott Waves, you gotta know, okay, this is when I trust RSI, and this is at least if you use it on higher time frames, the moves are quite big. So it's all about context. Same with other tools. It's all about practice and context, because RSI can be great, can be a great tool as well, can be very effective in the right hands. Next level of support is the blue box that I have on my chart, which is between 62.6 and 62.2k. We currently are at support, by the way. It's the point of controls of this area, and depending on the volume profile, you get a couple of different ones, as you can see. So I just put all on my chart just so that I know that it will go down in a zigzag. Well, currently this move down has impulsive characteristics, as we extended almost to the 3.618, which is a very uncommon target for a wave C. So it improves probabilities for a wave, for an impulse, and therefore a three-wave structure down. The best book for Fibonacci? That's a good question. I hope maybe someone in chat knows, because I've never read a book on Fibonacci. I practiced Fibonacci by just charting and just looking YouTube videos. So I wouldn't know, actually. I don't have that book. I mean, I have many books that I can recommend. Like it's in the description. Elliott Wave book is in there. The Mental Game of Trading. Market Wizards. Trading in the Zone is much like the Mental Game of Trading is much better than Trading in the Zone by a mile. By far my favorite psychology book, in like trading psychology book. I think the Psychology of Money is a fun book as well. Some interesting lessons. Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, which is more like a biography, which I think is quite interesting as well. What else do I have? Oh yeah, Best Loser Wins, The Intelligent Investor. But The Intelligent Investor is I would label it a gray book. You know, it's a very, very thick book. And actually, it doesn't even say too much, but I'm not sure. Maybe people might be like having a different opinion, of course, as it's an opinion. But basically, what they're saying is, if you're very new, then just stay close to the the well-known funds like S&P and that sort of stuff. But if you really want to go in detail and be an investor and read reports of companies and the profits and all that stuff, I guess it's a very useful book. But that is more fundamental analysis. So I actually think The Intelligent Investor is more a fundamental analyst type of book compared to a technical book, you know. But it's interesting for investing, I suppose. With behavior, econ. Yeah, I mean, in a way, Elliott Wave reflects psychology, which is why I like it as well. I hope so too, Zandra. Mar77. Major headlines affect your... no. I completely disregard... so CNBC, the problem... this is getting an interesting stream now. The problem I have with these channels is that they always somehow end up with the Moon Boys or the Drama Queens. So I remember Call the Moon in my first year ending there like on TV, probably because of his amount of followers, not because of his knowledge, saying 500 Bitcoin easy, you know, 500K Bitcoin. Yo, we topped at 65, went down to 30, topped at 69, and then they were again on CNBC. Oh yeah, we go to 1 million. Yo, next 15K, yo. No, I don't look at the news, and it's so not for me. It's not that it doesn't work. I guess some people can trade off it. I have a lot of respect for fundamental analysts, and I think the best book that you can read to get respect for anyone's strategy is Market Wizards. Because it doesn't matter if you're a fundamental analyst, technical analyst, a combination of both, or whatever it is. If you have a strategy that works, everyone should respect your way of trading. If it's fundamental or technical, does not matter. However, for me, I am 100% technical. I don't look at any news. The only thing I look at is this calendar because it affects volatility. And I want to know what price does, or I want to have an idea of, hey, if there is some sort of whatever this is. So I have never Googled what this is. So I don't know. I just know the only thing I look at when I open this is the time, the day and the time. And that's it. I'm like, okay, 2:30 p.m. Thursday, we might get some volatility, and I go back to the chart. I don't know why. I don't know what happens. I don't know the long-term consequence of what's happening. But I know that it might increase volatility, which therefore means it's interesting to me as a technical analyst. So yeah, I'm not really involved with news. Serega, what's up? How you doing? How you doing? In general, hey Salman. Barbie, what's up? Send it. Ooh, I'm now, because of all my explaining, I'm very far behind. I'm actually curious. What was this? I need help. Sometimes I need help as well. No. Where do we... Yeah, this is a personal strategy. So it can work. You know, you can use any indicator. You can use any charting tool as a technical trader. It's all about how you develop your strategy. Yeah. What is this book? Oh, sorry, lol. I only read it now. Elliott Wave Principle. Link is in the description. That's where you'll find it. I might be missing a lot of... Is there any place to learn it from baby level? If you talk about using the tools, so these ones, right, and indicators, I guess the best learning platform is YouTube. Just public YouTube videos, and ask questions in live streams. Yeah, so I think that would be the way to go. And also with regards to analyzing, probably Investopedia, and then go to the technical like analysis pages. You read a lot about patterns. Start Googling on candlestick structures, candlestick patterns, normal patterns, trend lines. That's usually where people start. But start with the easy stuff, and then the complex stuff will come, right? So yeah, I would recommend starting with Investopedia. Use some of these tools. Google, like, hey, you know, we got a speed fan here. What is a speed fan, right? It's a Fib speed fan. Read a bit about Fibonacci. That's where I would probably start. So yeah, quite nice. We may have indeed finished a 5-wave structure, and then we can either go into a new wave 1 or a potential continuation of a range in a 4 as a WXY was finished here. 1 second. Okay. 1 second. I need to check the train. Thanks, babe. I forgot that luckily it's for a school. Ooh, I still have time. Yeah, I got it warm there. So my wife just so when I'm streaming, yeah, I get lost in time. I just enjoy streaming. I love chatting to all of you. I don't really look at the time, and I have to speak tonight at the University of Rotterdam. So once in a while, I'm a guest lecturer at the university, and for the ones that don't know me, I'm also a global keynote speaker, but also in the Netherlands I speak, and I have to speak there tonight for a class, and I have to be there at 5:15. And my wife comes in and she's like, don't you have to go to Rotterdam? I'm like, fuck yeah, I actually have to go to Rotterdam. So I quickly check the times of the train because it's only a 20-minute train. It's way more efficient. And I still have time. Which one am I going to take though? Yeah, I think this one. Okay, we have pretty much 10 minutes left. Ooh! Close one, 16, yeah, okay. 10 minutes. Okay. Tangerine. Trading harmonics to make it a little bit easier. I didn't really look into them. Yeah, so I think harmonics are a great way to trade as well. I think harmonics can be very useful in trading, especially in combination with Elliott waves. So when you have Elliott wave theory, you're looking at the wave structures and of course the relationship between the different waves. But actually harmonics is not too different from Elliott waves. It's just that you look at a isolated piece of the chart and look for the harmonic in there and the relationship between the harmonic, right? And with Elliott waves, you look at the more like the zoomed out picture, I suppose. Now with harmonics, you can pull a harmonic on the 4 hour and then a harmonic on the 1 hour and then on the 15. So I guess it flows in a way. But yes, they do relate to one another. And depending on the Elliott wave analyst, they may want to use harmonics. But in my case, I never really got into it because by the time I started to learn about harmonics, my Elliott wave knowledge was at such a level that when I saw the harmonics, it was just waves for me. So it didn't help anymore because I was better in reading the individual waves, as in using Elliott waves compared to using harmonics. So that's when I stopped using harmonics. But I think in the beginning, for people that start with Elliott waves, knowing some harmonic, I think when I look back, maybe when I started, but I didn't know about harmonics, when I started learning Elliott waves, I think harmonics would have been a good thing to learn because it would have made probably my life a little bit easier to recognize certain structures. But once your Elliott wave knowledge reaches a certain level, harmonics will not really benefit you too much anymore. Because you're getting a high skill in reading the waves. Yeah, or 7K. Yeah, I don't think so. The problem is okay. Yeah, and this comes down to the skill of the analyst. So in the beginning, so I actually explain this more often. In the beginning, your skill level is very low. So your subjectivity is very high, right? You actually have no idea what's going on, but you're trying your best. But the higher your skill level, the lower the subjectivity becomes, the lower the guess, and the higher the probability, the higher the accuracy. So if you learn Elliott waves, in the beginning you'll likely struggle. But once your knowledge increases, that is when you will realize that your probabilities and your analysis becomes more accurate, and therefore trading it or using it for trading becomes profitable. Ben often time didn't matter with crypto, which so it's a no tool. Yeah. What's the best place to read up on Fib times? I mean, the book, so the Elliott Wave principle, right, has a bit of Fibonacci time, but not between the different waves. I got to be honest here. I have never found a great source at all to read about Fib time or learn about time in like with the different waves. So the book has a bit of time. So this is where it kind of comes from. Once you learn Elliott waves and you read about the different patterns and the impulse, you will quite quickly realize that patterns relate in time just by implementing your knowledge on the chart, and that's where you get the most benefit. But so what I did is I made a whole video on Fib time in gold, because you don't really find Fib times anywhere. So, and it's very important. And of course, I talk a lot about Fib times in my content in general. The Logitech G350, excellent price, full fidget without complexity. Now we're talking. I like that. Thanks, Mike. Let me put that here. So yeah, I have the cabled mouse, but I like to have a wireless one. Oh, it's only $50. Nice. Okay, nice one. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna read up on that. So I just wanted to try a wireless mouse. That's why I have a wireless one now. You've been very helpful. It's still pretty complex to me. I can imagine. But nice, Skippy, that you're learning. What time frame do you recommend using for us noobs? I would recommend starting on higher time frame. So don't go to the 15. I would start probably on a 4 hour. And pick a low, try to count an impulse, pick a range, try to count the corrective structures, do the measurements. But I would start, I think, on a 4 hour, preferably the higher, 4 hour or higher time frames. Yeah. Common target for A depends on when A finishes. So it's best to look inside A for wave 5. So A itself doesn't really have a target. It's more like wave A is an impulse, and we try to find the targets of the impulse. So we want to try to target wave 5 and then look for the move up in B. So wave B relates to A, and then C relates to A as well, but we need A to finish. Thank you, Sarthak. Appreciate it. Yeah. Course of Doctor in India. I hope you passed your MBBS, man. Congratulations. Oh, Rune. Yeah, sorry. So I recommend, Rune, I make life very easy. I recommend, Rune, to click on the join button below, and a video will pop up. And in that video, I also show how it works and how it's delivered. Because it's video content based on live streams. You can easily do it in a month. And it's a membership, so actually every gold member, or most of the gold members, some are there forever, but some of the gold members, or most of the gold members, finish it in a month, easy, and then they go silver, diamond, or they stop, but they got the knowledge and they can, go ahead. And then once a week, I do a live stream for the gold members as well to answer questions and everything. And I'm also active in Discord answering questions as well. We hit the value area low. That's some interesting confluence as well. I trust you on what you say, but with regards to time, prefer to see if I can have some more question. Vertical mouse. I've never heard about a vertical mouse. It's a gaming mouse, kind of expensive, but I love it. G502. I like the Logitech stuff though. I also have a Logitech keyboard. I happen to know Logitech Netherlands very well because of my professional gaming career. So a pleasure, by the way, Rune and Skippy. You reached the 1-to-1 FIP level. I know. Books on FIPs. Okay, there you go. Thanks, Tangerine. Why you trade not gold? Because of Bitcoin is my cup of tea. I never really had interest in things outside Bitcoin. It's my main focus, and for me less is more, so I prefer to use Elliott Waves on Bitcoin. And also Elliott Waves, if you want to do it well, it takes a lot of time, so it's best to have a few assets. Yeah. What do I talk about in the lecture? So this is me. This is the global agency. I might actually speak in London on the 9th of May. They're now checking. The price has been communicated to the client. So if that passes, I'm in London on the 9th of May. I could meet people. But yeah, topics are here. So Chartwell speakers, you'll find my name. But tonight I mainly speak to the students about my career. So it's more like an inspirational session where I talk about my career from an esports perspective, that is, and as a professional gamer in the past, and combine that with balance and tips on living a healthy lifestyle with regards to sleep, study, sports, social life, and screen time. So yeah. Cheers, Maria. Welcome. Good to have you here. Thank you, Victory. How are you doing? Do you teach gold members? Yes, I do. So all my Elliott Wave brain is in there. All the knowledge I have is in there, and yeah. And then of course, things that are often shared public are not necessarily in gold, but that's because you're always here anyway in public. Like a video about the 886. Everyone knows the probabilities of the 886 if you're here long enough. So yeah. Scooby-Doo is your surname. Yeah. I think you only need to analyze Bitcoin to know tendencies of altcoins, bullish or bearish. I guess, yeah, but I get the movement of alts can be different. But generally, they do follow the same high time frame wave structure. Vertical mouses all around. Interesting. Okay, I have to check that as well. Thanks, Vladislav. What's up, Arbusny? How are you doing? Do you think we are? No, I actually do think in the bullish cycle we might still come back here. It depends how high you go, but now I have a target between 100 and 180k. But the bear markets are getting deeper and the bull markets shallower on a logarithmic scale. So 60k is not off as a target. The 618 is just below price. Yeah. So the FIB from the top to the bottom. No, that's not really, of course, how it works. If you break the 618, you go to the moon. Because now you might have a finished impulse, retrace up for the 618 golden pocket and go down in a wave C. So now you can't use the 618 anymore because this range may be a wave 4. So we have to wait now. Once the 618 is hit, we got to be patient. Yes, I also stream on weekends. Okay, everyone, I got to go. I got to go to the train. You heard me checking my phone earlier. Answered all your questions, and yeah, I now have to go because I have to speak in Rotterdam on the at the University of Rotterdam for a great group of students. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your questions. Have a good evening. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a great morning wherever you live in the world. Who knows? And I hope to catch you tomorrow for another live stream. Let's see what's going to happen. I don't really think there's news tomorrow. Oh, we actually do. Oh, even more than today by the looks of it. So might be interesting. Probably live around 2:30. Tonight will be an update video. When I come back from speaking, I will make sure to make a regular video, about 10 minutes. And tomorrow morning, of course, is also another video. So yeah. What's the name again? Bones 1507. If you see the beginning or the end of this live stream, make sure you confirm your size of the t-shirt so I can get the stuff ready, sorted, and send it to all over the world because all of you come from everywhere. So that being said, Cheers and see you soon.